Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Eden Zero, chapter 190. When we last left our heroes, we checked in very briefly on Shiki as he's continuing to think that something is just sort of wrong with the story he knows about Ziggy. That maybe amnesiac Ziggy knew that his memories would return and did something to prepare for that. We're still not quite sure why erasing the Shining Star's memories would tie into that, or how Wizard factors into all of this, but something's going on there. Meanwhile, Elsie is being held captive by Justice, who will not kill her because he wants her to stand trial and, face the brunt of the law. Elsie gives him a little bit of a warning there to, kill your enemies when you have the chance, as she learned from Ziggy at the end of the Owie War. But after that, we focused on Rebecca versus Clown, and also Couch Po and Lobelia, which is just the best. I love me some Couch Po. She's always just a delight. Clown sort of mocks Rebecca for being the weakest out of the main four, and Rebecca acknowledges that and doesn't really care. She's still going to fight to protect her friends, and that sort of ties into, Couch Po and Lobelia's conversation, as Lobelia is upset that Rebecca, who's just some, YouTuber, is forced to be in these sorts of life and death, warlike situations. And Couch Po tries to tell her, that's Rebecca's desire, that's her choice, and, we have to respect that. And Lobelia takes that in the way that Couch Po I don't think expected. As Lobelia runs off to go and do something, we don't really know what, maybe go fight against Crow, which is what the Eden Zero is up to right now. Meanwhile, back at the battlefield with Clown spawns this, ring of fire around Rebecca. And that's where we leave off. So let's dive right in chapter 190, The Greatest Show from Hell. And our picture here, continuing our theme of young versions of, covers featuring young versions of the main cast. We have a young Rutherford siblings, with, Clean holding on to her brother, and carrying, I think this is the same plushie that Homura had in her flashback, I think. I don't know, I remember it mostly from the second ending of the anime, but I think that is the same plushie. I don't know. But we pick up where we left off, with the ring of fire materializing around Rebecca as she panics. Or she sort of, not panics, but sort of, is shocked. Happy calls out, "Rebecca!" And Rebecca jumps over the ring of fire, gets out of it pretty easy. Clown gives us a little mocking clap. "Ooh, brava, brava." Rebecca tells him, "Sorry, but I don't have time to be in your little circus." And Clown just, shoots vertical ring of fires now, like fireballs with rings. Aw, but the fun's only just getting started. And Rebecca has to, jump through hoops, like a circus performer, obviously, is the motif here. But she does that, and she approaches Clown, and she knees him in the face, just decks him. In typical Rebecca fashion with her legs. But Clown is sent flying into a stack of, presents. And Clown is basically fine, and sort of mocks her. "Aha, you take pride in your speed." And he snaps his fingers. Okay, so the floor is electrified. This electrical current is racing for Rebecca, and it shocks her. Ouch! And she falls over, and now her entire body's on the floor, and she's just zapped by it. Takes full brunt of that. Pino reacts, "Electricity running through the stage?" And Rebecca's just jumping around, trying to get off the floor. And Clown mocks her, "Such bad luck to be human." And Rebecca, very cat-like here, sees a curtain and jumps for the curtain. And we see she's, fried, her clothes are a little frayed. She remarks, "That's cheating!" But Clown draws a bunch of swords, actually. "Is it? I thought it was standard practice to suppress your opponent's best moves." And he starts juggling the swords. For our next act, allow me to demonstrate the art of juggling. And as he's juggling the swords, he, with one motion, throws one of the swords at Rebecca, shocking her. She jumps out of the way, making it to another curtain, but, there's only so many curtains around. Causing Happy to call, "Rebecca!" And Clown just mocks her, "Very nice. You may have what it takes to be a wonderful acrobat. The way you move is ever so comical." And he throws another sword that Rebecca barely gets out of the way of, and yet another, and she's absolutely on defense here. And Happy's just banging on the cage. But like, it initially just looked like a bird cage, but there is like sort of a glass between the gaps in the bird cage, as the Happy's banging on. What is the deal with this cage? And Pino tells him, it does not appear to be locked electronically. If we can deal physical damage to it from the outside... And she gets an idea, calling down to Rebecca. Miss Rebecca, can you hit this cage with one of those swords? Okay, use that to, like, get Pino out. And if Pino can use her EMP, maybe she can shut off the electric floor, allowing Rebecca to fight back. Also, maybe shut off Clown entirely, because he's also a robot. But Rebecca asks, hit the cage with a sword? And as Clown throws another sword, she catches it with her feet. And Clown mocks, my, how unladylike. But Rebecca's not paying any attention. Gather my ether to my feet and, hey-ya! And she throws it up and smashes into the cage. Shattering the glass, freeing Pino and Happy. And Happy comments, you did it! And Pino, escape attempt successful. And Clown, maybe not being aware as to just what Pino is, comments, your rescued mascots won't be able to help you. But no, so Pino does the obvious thing, activate EMP. But Clown mocks, that isn't going to work. We 4 Dark Star model androids are equipped with an anti-EMP coating, but that can still fix the floor. It will leave Rebecca somewhat defenseless, as she won't have Happy or her ether gear. But maybe like the ether gear will turn back on before the electricity does or something? I don't know. Or maybe it's a really small scale pulse or something, because Rebecca's up in the rafters on the curtain, and if she does it on the floor and it's a real small scale thing, then Rebecca would be fine. Miss Rebecca, I shut off the electric current running through the stage. I think that is what she did though, because it seems like she's already done it. And also, it's like she's not on the stage. It seems like she's able to like target her EMP from away from her at this point. And Rebecca comments, okay. And she jumps down onto the stage, transforming again to something else. Not her, like she's still in her ether gear form. We can see the ether whiskers and the cat ears, but she's not in that like leotard style thing she's been wearing this fight. It's more of like a skin tight bodysuit. And she calls out, Happy! And Happy is transforming into her guns. Aye, sir! And no, she's back in the same outfit. Which is weird. Like, same tatters and everything. Which is weird, because that really looks like a different outfit going on there. I don't know. It's a weird... Maybe it's a minor thing. But either way, Happy's in his gun form. She starts shooting at everything, including Clown. Who takes some damage, but not much. Because he, like, has his hand go down, revealing a gun on the inside of the hand. You stupid little girl! And he starts shooting at her, but she jumps out of the way. And Pino tells her, analysis complete. His armor is lighter on the back of his neck. And Rebecca notes, copy that. And she jumps behind him to attack the nape like he's a titan or something. Whoa! Happy blaster, full burst! And she does, put all of Happy's ether bullets into the back of Clown's neck. Full 2-page spread there. We see there's like a chunk of Clown's nape missing. That does seem to have actually gotten him. And she falls over as Rebecca and Pino just smile. And Rebecca lands. We did it! And Happy turns back into his cat form. You did it, Rebecca! And I will say, I do really like this. I could see, Clown goes down fairly easily here. Assuming he is down. There's still like 4 pages left. But like, the way this ties into last chapter's themes of like, Rebecca is motivated by the bond she's made to protect the people around her. And Rebecca wins not entirely on her own merit, but because of Happy and Pino, because of her friends. I think it's a real nice way to tie this whole little fight together. And Happy Rebecca takes off her ether gear, goes back to normal, thanks to the two of you, but Clown's not done yet. I see. And the trio turns back. I'm sorry I called you a wimpy weakling. Maybe it's time I started taking this a little seriously. Okay, he's doing the whole villain, I was just going easy on you thing. Shocking Rebecca. What? And Happy, so you weren't trying at all? And Pino's a little panicked now. Enemy bot attack power rising. He's... And Clown grins. Battle dress requip. Nightmare Clown. And, he's in a much more... Like, it's a sort of suit of armor. Not quite full-on armor, but, like... It's kind of Ziggy-esque. It's sort of... There's a sort of Ziggy vibe here. He's got, like, the whole cloak that Ziggy has. That mask is sort of Ziggy's face shape. There is definitely a Ziggy vibe here. Not so much the carnival clown he's been. But, you know, this power-up, when it took everything the three of them had to beat Clown as he was, panics our heroes here. And Clown just tells them, pleasant nightmares. And there's this, like, black mist surrounding Rebecca now. Huh? What is happening? Oh... That's the same thing that happened to Gene, right? In his fight with Callum? The sort of, like, disintegration by mist? Because at this point, Rebecca's just a torso and, like, head and arms up to, like, here. She's being dissolved. Ah! Which, actually, hold on. So, Gene survived this because he activated his overdrive thanks to his self-realization. Sorry, I have a bad cough. Is that where we're about to see Rebecca go here? I don't know. Happy calls Rebecca! And Pino, the unidentified mist, took Miss Rebecca! And Clown just grins, bye-bye. And Rebecca disappears. That's where we leave off. So, you know, not the same as that time with Gene. Because Gene never fully dissolved. Rebecca did, and they're not going to kill off Rebecca, you know. Rebecca's safe. She's not going to die against Clown, just so anticlimactically. But yeah, I don't know enough about what this mist does to know how this is going to lead, how this is going to wrap up. My best guess, I'll give a complete shot in the dark guess here, is that... You know, the ways like Nightmare Clown, Pleasant Nightmares, that sort of the whole nightmare theme of the attack, is that it will take Rebecca to like a pocket dimension where she's forced to see her worst memories, or her worst nightmares. And my best outcome for this whole conflict here is that having to face herself at her worst, having to face her worst nightmares will lead to, you know, going back to that Gene Callum fight, a sort of moment of characterization as strong as the climax of that fight for Rebecca. Because, you know, she's like one of the leads here. And I don't think she's really had a big moment like that. Like, there's been some things, you know, with her experiencing Shaky's death in Universe 1. But, like, nothing, you know, I'm comparing it to Jean and comparing it to Lucy and the climax of the Phantom Lord arc. And there still are all these, like, hold on. Maybe this could lead to, I've always been like, there's a lot of mysteries around Rebecca, right? Like, her origin, the fact that her last name is just Blue Garden, the same way that, like, Shiki's last name is Granbell because that's just where Rebecca found him, and we don't know what his family is like. Rebecca might be the same way, especially because we know she was like a street orphan, you know, before she found Old Wise. So maybe this could give us Rebecca backstory. This might be how we get whatever the hell Rebecca's deal is. Which, if so, I can't wait for that. I've wanted Rebecca's backstory for years now. So yeah, that's exciting. I'm excited to see where we're going with this. I hope my only real fear is that next week it'll be like, let's check in on Wise and Killer or Homer and Brigandine. Like, I want to work on this. I want to see this. I want to see how all this plays out. What exactly is going on with Rebecca and her pleasant nightmares, as Clown puts it. It's exciting. But anyway, the rest of the chapter is also really good. Though I was largely focused for a while on that last bit. Just, you know, like I commented earlier, the way that, like, Rebecca's victory, even if it isn't really a victory and is very short-lived, is tied into her bond with her friends. You know, she is the weakest member of the crew. That's a statement of fact. But I like that, like, that doesn't, like, you know, I sometimes, I haven't had too many opportunities to complain about this since I started reviewing One Piece. But, like, the fact that so many of the cast don't get these big showcases in One Piece, you know, it's rare you see Nami have a big fight. You know, Robin's fight with Blanca Maria was the first big Robin fight since, I think, Dressrosa, but I wouldn't swear she had a big fight in Dressrosa. It's rare that, like, people who aren't Luffy, Zoro, Sanji get big fights in One Piece. And Onigashima's done a lot to, like, sort of rectify that, as the whole crew has had some big moment throughout the arc. But, like, this is sort of, you know, Rebecca's the kind of character I feel like in One Piece would sort of have a different role than a big fight. But Mashima, I think Mashima, as much as people love to critique Mashima for all sorts of things, a lot of them justified, he's always been good at giving his characters showcase moments. You know, Fairy Tail still finds moments for, like, you know, Kana is, like, one of the big players near the climax of Alvarez. She's, like, one of the key figures in taking down August, her and Gildarts. The Alderaan arc has, like, the C-listers help out Wendy in her fight with the God Seed Doom, I think it was. So, like, we're seeing here again, Mashima's really good at taking characters who aren't, you know, physically strong and giving them ways to have these big action showcases. In Rebecca's case here, it's sort of tied into, you know, the theme that, like, Rebecca's doing all this for her friends that we saw last week, or 2 weeks ago, I guess. And here, those friends repay the favor, as it's Pino and Happy's assistance that helps her get this far. Now, in the end, it's all kind of for naught, as the Nightmare Clown is here, and Rebecca is currently a bunch of dust. But, well, we'll see how all that ends up playing into these themes, or perhaps Rebecca backstory and, like, self-actualization themes next week. Because for now, this is just a really fun chapter, and I can't wait to see how all this plays out from here. So with that said, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, you know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And as always, life is your own, okay? Bye!